This is a New Zealand review perspective of the Tesla Model 3. This video was not really scripted. It was shot over multiple months after delivery of the Tesla Model 3, and therefore it may look a bit muddled up and unscripted, but I'll provide timestamps in the description to skip ahead to places and to skip ahead to different parts of the car and different parts of the video. First things first, let's talk about the delivery process of the Tesla Model 3 in New Zealand. And this is coming right from a perspective of a guy that got the car in Auckland, where Tesla is based in. And there's a dealership all the way in Karangaʻape on K Road in the city. It is a huge dealership, and at one point it was one of the biggest dealerships in the world. So pretty much after that, if you order the car, you have to wait. At the time in 2021, mid-2021, the waiting time for the Tesla Model 3 in New Zealand was around about 2 months. And pretty much the delivery process of the Tesla Model 3 is that there's a dealership, K Road, there's a dealership, is the showroom, and then there's a delivery site around near Sylvia Park in Auckland, where you can pick up your Tesla and drive it away. It's pretty much just a lot of Tesla Model 3s. You walk in there and there's a few hundred just parked outside. They'll give you a time, or I think it's an appointment, or they give you a time to when you pick up the car. And when you walk into the actual delivery center, there's other Teslas lined up there for other people to pick up. And usually there's someone from Tesla staff, and it's also they check your IDs. They also want you to take out your phones to configure your Tesla account, which you've hopefully set up before this. And from your Tesla account, they have to link the car. They'll link the car they're picking up to your Tesla account, and then they give you a quick overview. You can check out the car, give you a quick overview of the car. One thing I do recommend you do after taking delivery of the Tesla Model 3 is to definitely calibrate the cameras. So pretty much the Tesla Model 3, I'll explain the Autopilot features later. The Autopilot features of the Tesla Model 3 use something called Autopilot. Autopilot requires the cameras to be calibrated. And this is done by the car itself if you drive on roads. Pretty much what we did for the first day was we took the car out and we took it to the motorway, and after that, when we first drove the car out, there was no lines showing up on the Autopilot visualization screen, which I'll talk more about in the Autopilot section. And so the Tesla Model 3's exterior looks especially good in red, and the body looks like something that's out of the future and is really sleek. The black door handles split flush with the body, which looks really, really clean and really, really good. The black handles and the red color really creates good contrast between the handles and the body. The roof of the car is made fully of glass, and apparently 2 elephants can stand on it and it wouldn't actually crush. It is very heavily tinted, so it won't allow a lot of UV light into the car, as that would be a pain. But one of the biggest downsides of having a glass roof is definitely the heat that is generated from the sun. Parking this car outside on a sunny day, you can definitely feel the heat on the glass, which is then transferred into the car. In an older car like a Toyota Corolla, this simply isn't an issue. The 8 cameras on the exterior of the Tesla Model 3 power its Autopilot and full self-driving capability. Also on the exterior of the Tesla Model 3, there are 6 ultrasonic sensors, which gives a 360-degree coverage of the car in ultrasonic. Ultrasonic sensors only work up to around about 8 meters, but when parking or reversing, it makes it really, really convenient to see how close you are to a wall, how close you are to another car, and really, really prevents you from crashing into others. One of the most interesting things about the exterior of the Tesla Model 3 is definitely the frunk. On the Tesla Model 3's exterior, there's a trunk, of course. Obviously, every car has a trunk. But on the Tesla Model 3, the unique part of the Tesla Model 3 is it has a frunk. Right. Then I can put food just like that, and then what you do, take the front down, then with 2 hands you gotta press the front like this, and the thing locks. And that's the front. It's really, really weird, and not many people want to use it. My dad's really scared of using it because apparently it damages the paint, but I think it's really, really neat feature, and it's kind of cool. which is technically front trunk. But why would you call it a trunk? Is that back bunk? I don't know. But the front trunk is actually surprisingly big. I've stored a computer in there. The trunk is also surprisingly big. I can store pretty much. There's a trunk part, and then if you lift up a little flap, you see that it's under there. That's the case there. There's even more stuff under the trunk, and for more storage. Pretty much, I could store. And this is the numbers. I could store one computer down the compartment, in the trunk, in the bottom compartment, and on the top compartment, I can store another around about, I believe, another eight computers. And then I can store one more computer in the front. So pretty much for me, a Tesla Model 3's boot space is surprisingly big for a sedan this size. And I think roll the clip of me. I'm going inside this car. It's huge. It's really, really good. The trunk, the exterior is really, really good. The interior of the Tesla Model 3 is sleek, it is modern, and it is also buttonless. There is a very noticeable lack of buttons. Everything on the interior of the car is controlled by the 15-inch touchscreen. We'll talk about the touchscreen and the infotainment center later, as there's just so much to talk about. The Tesla Model 3 can sit up to 5 people pretty comfortably. The back seat has really, really good knee room. If you're a bit tall, if you're maybe above 6 foot, the Tesla Model 3 can get a little small and it can almost hit your head. Transporting 5 people, it's more of a 4-person car. I wouldn't really put 5 people in it. It's a bit squished. All the seats in the car are heated, and in my 2021 SR Plus model of the Tesla Model 3, it does come with heated seats with no extra costs. Another perk about the heated seats is definitely the steering wheel is also heated, which is a very interesting feature. Another perk about the Tesla Model 3 is definitely its air conditioning with its really, really, really intuitive air conditioning system, which is two-way. You can use your finger to drag up and down to change the direction of where you want the air through the whole strip of the Tesla Model 3's air conditioning. The infotainment system of the Tesla Model 3 is probably one of the most advanced infotainment systems ever installed into a car. The 15-inch touchscreen, on the 15-inch touchscreen, you can watch Netflix, you can watch YouTube, and there's also a web browser. One thing that Tesla's definitely done a great job of is implementing games into the car. I believe there's probably about 10 games on the car. My personal favorite is Beach Buggy Racing. It uses the steering wheel of the car to steer the car in the game, which is a bit of a hard concept to kind of explain. It's really, really trippy at first, and the steering is definitely really, really different, especially at the game's mechanics. But I just love how companies like Tesla innovate like this. Pretty much on the bottom corner, on the bottom right corner, there's a little car logo, and you click on that, it has all your settings, which you can change all your speed controls, your locks, your keys, and all settings like that. To be honest, the infotainment system, I've never seen any car do it better. But the most confusing thing about the Tesla Model 3 is definitely the interior. So pretty much we purchased the red car and the red paint scheme, which cost an extra $3,000, which is a bit stupid and insane. Why would a paint color cost more? But it did. Anyways, so pretty much because of that, but anyways, I believe the interior should be the same. And the most confusing thing while researching the interior is that I believe the US Model 3 and the Shanghai-made Model 3 has different interior colors and interior choices. Pretty much in America, you can buy the car in a partial premium interior and a full premium interior. But in New Zealand, I believe we have something that's smack bang in the middle. So pretty much looking at the American partial interior, I'll just read out the specs. It has no fog light. You get plastic inserts. You have no footwell lights, which are the lights under the near your feet. There's no rear speakers, no subwoofer, no amps, and it comes with a 30-day free trial of premium connectivity, which is pretty much just mobile data. The most confusing part, especially in this car, is that our car does have immersive sound. It has all the speakers around the car. And I've actually tested that. So pretty much on my 2021 SR Plus, we do have immersive sound, and you can actually change the settings in Spotify, YouTube, or in the car in general. Another confusing thing is that I believe prior to the end of 2021, you had to pay for heated seats in the back, but my car shipped with heated seats without me paying it. I believe it's around about $300 if you guys have, if you guys don't have it unlocked from the factory. Another interesting thing is that we also didn't have to pay for the heated steering wheel, which I believe should come with the, I believe it was around about $600 package you pay to unlock the heated seats in the rear heated seats, and the heated steering wheel. So pretty much in the 2021 SR Plus, in my 2021 SR Plus Tesla Model 3, there are no fog lights, and there are no footwell lights, and that's it. Pretty much, I think we probably have, as I said before, a smack bang in the middle between partial premium interior and premium interior. But either way, the interior is just mwah. It is great, it is amazing, it feels great. The interior, the vegan leather, I don't know why we're naming cars vegan, I thought that was a food thing. The vegan leather is great, it feels really well, the seats feel very comfortable. The seats can recline, you can move the seats from the side. It's really, compared to my 2001 Corolla, this is such a big step up. It feels so good to be in a new car. And it just feels like I'm leaping generations, probably centuries ahead. It feels so good. It's hard to describe. Pretty much what Autopilot does is it takes the information from 8 cameras and makes a 4D representation of the world. So a 4D representation is pretty much taking 2D information and making it into a 3D environment. The car can accurately predict how far a car is, where a traffic light is, where other cars are driving past you, road lines and road signs. You can see on the screen it takes a motorcycle on the car. Look at that. Actual motorcycle. Pretty much Autopilot on the Tesla Model 3 is cruise control on steroids. It is not really practical to use on roads as it requires a lot of driver intervention for it to work. It can't stop for stoplights or stop signs in New Zealand. Probably the coolest feature of Autopilot is Auto Steer. Auto Steer gives the car the capability to steer itself on motorways or closed roads. The car can see road lines and other cars, and it uses those road lines to steer the car and keep the car centered. Okay, so engage Auto Steer. So currently, as you see on the screen right now, to tell if you're engaged Auto Steer, you see there are blue lines on the Tesla screen. Pretty much, it's also another indication of you're an Auto Steer is that little blue icon there with a steering wheel. Auto Steer only works if your hands are actually on the wheel. If you take them off, the Auto Steer will start beeping at you. Okay, so on screen right now, you see it is actually flashing blue, and this is the warning for you to actually touch the wheel. And there, it goes away. The biggest issue with the Autopilot system is its lack of awareness for turns. The Autopilot will still take a turn which says 75 kilometers per hour, maybe at 100 kilometers per hour, and makes you really feel uncomfortable. Another issue with the Tesla Autopilot system, although it can read road signs, it does not slow down for road signs. This is one of the biggest flaws of the Tesla Autopilot system. I've personally also tried Auto Steer on the Tesla Model 3 on the windy roads of New Zealand, and Auto Steer just fails. Yeah, that one was not going to do it. Auto Steer at this point can't really be used on the windy country roads, the mountainous roads of New Zealand. Definitely the biggest upside of Tesla Autopilot, especially on motorways and long road trips, is definitely its ability for you to let go of the steering wheel for maybe a few seconds, maybe relax, move your arms, move your hands, so you won't become stiff or you won't cramp. Really has made long road trips easier. Anyways, let's talk the range of the Tesla Model 3. So the base Tesla Model 3 in New Zealand claims to do up to around about 491 kilometers. In real world testing and road tripping with this car to Whangarei, to Tauranga, to Waihi, the car can realistically do around about 400 and 420 kilometers of realistic range. We definitely while taking a trip down to Tauranga, we definitely had to recharge once. While going to Tauranga, we definitely went down there, and it was around about 50%. We had to charge. We charged back up to like 90. We charged it back up to like 90%. We came back home. It was around about
20%. So pretty much, if you want to go to Tonga with the base model Tesla Model 3, I believe it's possible. You're taking a small risk if you want to come back, but we did take a big detour all the way through Hamilton. If you guys have, if they'll be coming up in the future of Joseph's Anklets PCs, completely irrelevant to review. But yeah, I believe the Tesla Model 3, especially for commuting, especially for if you just go from home to work, or you just go quick trips to go shopping, the Tesla Model 3 range is very adequate. So pretty much a step up from the Tesla Model 3 base that I have is the Tesla Model 3 long range, and that costs around about $83,000 starting price compared to the $66,000. So that's about a $16,000 hike in price. And apparently the Tesla Model 3 long range can go up to 600 kilometers from the 491 kilometers. But I believe probably in the real world you're probably getting 500 on the long range and 400 on the base model. The Tesla Model 3 Performance costs $95,000, almost $100K, and this one can go around about 550 kilometers, which I will assume will be around about 500 kilometers. The Tesla Model 3, the US model of the Tesla Model 3 base model is actually faster, but I believe the 0 to 60 is around about 5.6 seconds in America, but the SR Plus 2021 in New Zealand, that was made in Shanghai, with LFP batteries, which is also different battery technologies. So pretty much the US Model 3s and the China Model 3s are drastically different under the hood, not the interior, exterior, they all look the same. But the Model 3 from Shanghai, with the LFP batteries, do have worse performance than the ones than their American counterparts. But I believe that's only for the base models, not for the performance and not for the long range. One of the best reasons why to buy the Tesla Model 3, especially in New Zealand, is the clean car rebate, which is about $8,625. Going through the process, it was really quick. I applied for it. We had to provide proof of purchase of the car and a lot of proof of ownership too. And easily, we sent a submission to the government. Government sent us money in like about a day. So the clean car rebate ends in March. So pretty much, if you are buying a Model 3 now, you're a bit too late. I believe you have to actually take ownership of the car before you have to claim the rebate. You can't just buy the car and claim the rebate for obvious reasons. It's pretty much for if you're buying a Model 3 in New Zealand, you probably have to be paying the full price of $66,000 of the base model, $66,900, which is also in white, not in the red one featured in this video. So in New Zealand, there are 4 ways of charging the Tesla Model 3. The car comes with a mobile travel adapter, which by far is the slowest charger. It can do around about 8 to 7 kilometers per hour, and in a whole night it can do around about 100 kilometers. The charging speed of the travel charger is really good for if you're doing commuting to work, or you're just going short distances every day. The biggest downside to this charger is, especially if you're going on road trips, it may take a few days to get from 0 to 100%. A step up from the wall charger is the Tesla wall connector, and it's currently in generation 3. This is the fastest in-home charging solution in New Zealand. So technically the charger is capable of up to 48 amps, but in New Zealand it is limited to 32. Now, this is around about 10 times faster than the travel adapter and can charge the car up to 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. The Tesla wall charger can easily charge up the car to 100% in a night. The biggest downside of the Tesla wall charger is definitely the installation costs, and in New Zealand, for me, in my house, it costs us $1,800, but in New Zealand, the quote is around about 1,000 New Zealand dollars. One of the biggest issues we faced while installing the Tesla wall charger in our house is the long cable length, and which pretty much doubled the price from around about $1,000. But outside of home, there are further 2 options: DC fast charging and Tesla supercharging. DC fast charging is the most common type of charging in New Zealand. The prices of electricity to charge your car costs around about 25 cents per kilowatt. Charging with Tesla Model 3 with DC fast charging and CCS Type 2 ranges from about 50 kilowatts all the way up to 300 kilowatts. The most common charger in New Zealand for DC fast charging is 50 kilowatts. I'll put some links to the NZTA's website for electric charging. I'll also link ChargeNet's charging website. ChargeNet is one of the biggest privately owned charging network for electric cars in New Zealand. Well, and where I live in Auckland, there is actually a free charger at the local BP in Pakuranga, which costs $0 but has a cap of 30 minutes. Charging there actually is no charging cap. It's more like a moral cap, It says park for 30 minutes, but you can be there forever. And people stopping you from charging longer are other people who are wanting to charge. My charging experience at the Vector installed BP charger in Pakuranga is really good. Definitely downside is the parking there is a bit weird, and it is pretty busy at times. So one of the fastest forms of charging and the official forms of charging for the Tesla Model 3 is Tesla supercharging. And reportedly this works really great in America, having in America probably being the biggest charging networks for electric cars. But in New Zealand it isn't as good as it is in America. One of the biggest downsides of Tesla supercharging is definitely its cost, but that is in exchange for speed. The biggest benefit of Tesla supercharging is definitely the speed, being around about double the speed of the standard 50 kilowatt chargers, coming in at around about 130 kilowatts. So the biggest downside of Tesla supercharging is definitely its cost, being upwards of from 50 cents per kilowatt all the way up to 80 cents, which is just really stupid. It's just really stupidly expensive, and I personally wouldn't recommend it. The biggest upside to Tesla supercharging is that you know for a fact that you can charge your car. On the Tesla infotainment system, you can tell if the chargers have been occupied, which is really interesting. I believe all electric car chargers should have this feature, as it will be really convenient to know if the charger is free.
Anyways, back to the workshop. To conclude, the Tesla Model 3 is a really good car. It looks great, it feels great, and it drives great. It's simply, I really have no issues with the Tesla Model 3. Although many people who are Tesla lovers are Tesla shills, Elon Musk shills, I can say I am not part of that. It is the budget offering, it is the lower tier car, but it still does a great job, provides great range, and it is really unique. It's simply something that no other car manufacturer had rivaled, and it provides innovation in the space of electric cars and in the future of driving that no other car manufacturer has managed to achieve. It's futuristic. It is a mature electric vehicle platform, and we know that in the future there's an upgrade path if in the case we want to upgrade or trade in our Tesla Model 3 in the future for maybe a Model Y, a Model X, or a Model S. And I think the Tesla ecosystem is really good. One thing that Tesla does exceed is definitely in its technology compared to other car manufacturers. We simply do not see a 15-inch touchscreen in a normal car, or do we see a car that only has a 15-inch touchscreen and is practically buttonless. It has a very minimalist design, which makes the car really clean, really smooth, and really refined. Anyways, that is my take on the Tesla Model 3. Comment down below what you guys think about the Tesla Model 3, and if you want to see more reviews and Tesla content, go subscribe down below. Anyways, thank you very much for watching a Just As A Thing video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.
Flip flop, I found this. Santa mode. You see on the Autopilot stream, where Santa and his reindeer. Currently we have a turn going on and we're still on auto steer. Car's actually turning, that car's actually turning. Whoa. Car's turning. It's fine. Good, we have another complex turn. Let's see how good this thing does. Let's see this turn over here. Car. Steering that way. Yep, there you go. Him steering, look at that. It's steering. You see this? It's still turning. Car's still turning, you see that? On the road, it says there's a blue line there. Wow, this technology is just really amazing, and it's really convenient.